until that day when all are one. To me, my loyal Decepticons.
Hello everybody, what's up? This is Pac-Man5698 again, and welcome to my first review of a Transformer. I got this in the mail today. In fact, it was originally supposed to be a Christmas present, but I got it early, and now, well, here it is. It's my first Transformers figure, and if you don't know what Transformers is, then, well, I would say you've been living under a rock, but because of the reception it's got recently, then look it up. You know, it doesn't take that long to get into. If you watch G1 or the movies, I think you'll find it entertaining. But this is a toy from the toy line Transformers Universe. I'm not exactly too familiar with Universe, but I think it was essentially bringing back G1 Transformers like Shockwave and Starscream and Megatron and giving them newer designs, kind of like more high-tech futuristic designs or realistic designs in a less cartoony way, and then releasing them. And actually, I don't know whether or not they all come packaged in a vehicle mode, but this is not This does not look like the Galvatron a lot of people remember. Now, I'm going to have a little bit of character history. If you don't know who Galvatron is Megatron, essentially. He originated in the 1986 animated movie, and when Megatron, spoiler alert here, killed Optimus Prime used the last of his strength to knock Megatron off a cliff, off their broken base, and then afterwards he just fell down and he hit the floor, damaging him severely, damaging him, like messing him up real bad. And so after the Decepticons retreated, succeeding in destroying Optimus Prime, but failing in destroying all of the Autobots and Ultra Magnus, Starscream took his opportunity. And if you don't know who Starscream is, he's essentially the whiny little traitor, the egotist that wants to take over the Decepticons, who are the bad guys, by the way. And he used that opportunity to toss Megatron out of the train, out of their space train, and then afterwards, Starscream thought that he won and that he could now take over the Decepticons, but as Megatron was floating into space, he came into contact with essentially the Satan of Transformers, the evil planet-eating planet, Unicron, voiced by Orson Welles. And what Unicron said was, hey, if you can find the Autobot matrix of leadership and destroy it, I will give you eternal power, and if you agree to take on this task right now, I will give you a new body, and I will give you new troops to command and new weaponry. So, after he made that deal, Megatron at first said no, nobody messes with Megatron, but as Unicron was about to kill him, he accepted his terms, and he was formed into Galvatron. Now, Galvatron has some pros and cons in comparison with Megatron. A lot of the pros people say is that they don't prefer this midnight blue or midnight purple over Megatron's shiny silver, and that they think that, in the series at least, Frank Welker was more menacing as Megatron. He wasn't that whiny little Starscream insane voice, but I think it's kind of okay. And but also the nice thing with Galvatron is that in the movie he was voiced by Leonard Nimoy, which is why I think 1986 movie Galvatron is the best, because he's voiced by Spock. And also, it destroyed the idea of having Megatron transform into a gun. Now, although it's kind of cool, if Megatron's supposed to be the leader, he should be independent, and he should do his own damage. Nobody should be around just to hold him and shoot him. If he's just alone, then there's no point in actually, transforming. So Galvatron basically removed that idea, and they put in place a tank. Now, in this case, he is not a tank, sorry. Galvatron originally turned into a cannon, but here he's a tank, and it's a pretty good-looking tank, as you can see here. And also the back. There's a picture, just looks awesome. There's Galvatron. It's got those awesome eyes, and this is what it says. Galvatron, classic series. Arrogant, powerful, and ruthless, Galvatron has emerged to seize control of the scattered Decepticon forces. He has formed what was once a loose confederation of assassins and warlords and turned into an army capable of threatening the entire universe. Rumors abound, but no one knows where he came from. They know only that he arrived and swiftly crushed all opposition to his rule. Some Decepticons hope another leader powerful enough to challenge him will emerge, but most are too afraid of him to even hope for someone better. Now, it's kind of weird. It's almost as if they're accepting the 1986 movie into their canon because it's like, nobody knows. I don't know about nobody knows where he came from, but it's like he destroyed all opposition. I think they're talking about like that scene in the movie where Galvatron just comes in and kills Starscream, which I think is the best part of the movie, actually. But but the whole thing is that nobody know where he came from. To be honest, I don't know whether or not everybody does know if Galvatron's Megatron. I don't know if that was ever a secret because Cyclonus and his armada were with them, and don't they know that he was Megatron? So didn't they tell everybody else? So that's kind of odd. And as you can see here, one thing I always search for in Transformers is that can you tell that this is a robot? Because one of the taglines of Transformers is Transformers, robots in disguise. And a lot of the times, aside from G1 Optimus and Megatron and some of the toys in animated, I can kind of tell that they're obviously robots, but robots in disguise. I can see some of their hands and legs, but here Galvatron looks great as a tank, actually. He looks great. Unless you turn him around and actually look at his, as I would say, kibble on his bottom, really, he looks great. He looks like a real tank. He looks pretty awesome. Like, if he was a robot, like, on terms of grading him as a robot in disguise, he gets an A+. I would never assume he was actually a Transformer if I ignore that little text, which you can't see. And as for the box, I got him used. He's never been opened, but apparently the box was either badly damaged and was taped together. And I still like it because the artwork here is still awesome, and I kind of like the fact that it's a little bit crinkled here. It's kind of like a lightning effect, if you can see. So now I think I'm going to open him, and I'm going to transform him. So, Universe Galvatron. Okay, everybody, here is Universe Galvatron in his tank mode, and one thing that I love about this figure is the G1 reference. Galv 25. Now, if you don't get this reference, Transformers, the 1986 movie, which introduced Galvatron, it takes place in the year 2005. So, 2005, 25. It's genius! That's on both sides, too. It's kind of like if you go watch the, my crossover review with Wilku, they did the same thing with Lugnut. It was like LU9, NU7 Lugnut, well, they do Galv 25. And also, as you can see here, he looks exactly like a tank. Unless you look at the bottom, you would have no idea this guy's a Transformer. But if you turn him around, see you got all that stuff. See it right there? He still looks pretty cool. And, of course, you have the traditional gimmick. He can fire something. Here's the little missile, the little transparent orange missile, which I'm glad that they got the gold color right, like with the Takara or the G1 toy Galvatron. You just, let's see. There we go. You just snap that in, and I don't want to lose it, but there it goes. Then shoots out well. In fact, nah, that was bad. Let's see how far it can shoot. Whoa. Let's see. There. So it shoots out at long range, and I think I actually got something out, or is that just my mind? I don't know. I don't think that was there. But anyway. Yeah, although I heard that he does look good in both modes, it's kind of hard to transform him, which brings me to the instructions. First time I've, like, opened up some Transformers instructions since I think, during Armada. Okay, there he is. He doesn't look too bad. It's not exactly easy to transform. It's just, he's not exactly hard to transform. It's just that it's long and complex. And then there's also this little mini promo thing for Cartoon Network. Let's see. Transformers Animated. Back when Transformers was actually good. 2007 to 2009. Oh, I'm stretching. So and also Transformers Universe on the back. Whoa. Transformers the game for Nintendo DS, which my friend says is total garbage. But now I'm going to transform Galv 25 here, and I'm going to show you all in his robot mode. I'm going to transform my first transformer since well, actually a few days, but mainly I'm going to transform my first transformer since my own first transformer since like 8 years ago or whatever. Okay, everybody, he is in robot mode, and I just want to say that, well, the one downside to this Galvatron is that he is really, really, really hard to transform. Maybe not totally impossible, but it's just kind of confusing. Every time you try to transform him, it seems like that you either lose track of what you were holding, or maybe that, I don't know, you just can't figure out how to do anything without breaking it. That's one downside of Transformers. You don't know what you're gonna break and what you can transform unless you have instructions. And even then, the instructions didn't even help me a whole lot. It's better just to go on YouTube and find some clips. But anyway, I just want to say that overall, he does have some flaws in his robot mode. There's this big backpack over here. You know, it's this weird stuff. He kind of like has a little tail, a beaver tail as I would call it, and he has this large backpack, but I kind of forgive it because even the original Galvatron kind of had this large backpack, and I don't know where else they were going to put it. It could have been worse. I mean, he is a Transformer that you just want to face forward because he meets you with this, look at this really, really, really detailed face. I mean, look at that. Glowing orange eyes. He's just terrifying. And his mouth is pretty good too. And it's nice to have overall a G1, not exactly a G1 Galvatron from the toy line, but it's nice just to have a G1 style Galvatron, even if it's not exactly the same. The Decepticon logo is painted on really well, and he does have trouble standing. But I think if you just toy around and experiment a little bit with the legs and the body, you can get him to stand. Let's see. There we go. And also, he has a lot of he has fairly decent articulation. His arms are pretty good. You can like make it look like he's punching, or if you can make him raise his fist off. But this cannon kind of gets in the way. I mean, it's really, really distracting seeing how his shoulder, like his first shoulder, is so plain, and like this one is this big ballistic tank. That's kind of distracting, but you can still point it forward, and the missile still works well. In fact, sorry, like, that last... I didn't know I was covering it up. That was a stupid decision, but here it is. There we go. So yeah, they got the paint job right. And I also like the color detail. It's nice to see... again, a G1 style Galvatron, and he has everything you would expect. That you can tell he's a G1 figure. He's got the crown. He also has the little window thing here. And of course, he has the fusion cannon, the gold-yellow fusion cannon. He has the shoulders, and he even has the same style of feet. It's just that he's really confusing to transform, and a lot of parts of him fall off. I had the arm fall off, both of the legs fall off. And another hard thing is that this happened with my version, is that this little... It's way back there, this orange thing. It actually, if you move it, it's held in place. It's kind of wobbly. Well, not too wobbly. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of wobbly. And if you turn around a lot, it will actually, like, slide out from the two little bars, I guess you could call them, that hold it in place. And then this whole thing will get disconnected, and it's kind of tricky to put it back in. So that's negative. And overall, he does still have some kibble, but what's really good about him is that, again, he looks very reminiscent to G1 Galvatron, which is always a nice thing, and it's nice that you can own a Galvatron like this without having to spend $140 on the Takara version. Even the Takara version, although it had that matrix, I decided not to get it because I don't think it really looks like Galvatron. It's too skinny. There's too much contrast. Like, he has a flat buffy bicep, and his fists are so rectangular. His face doesn't match up, and his shoulders aren't exactly high enough. And I don't think they even actually got his legs right, but this one actually looks more like Galvatron from the movie because it actually has that face that sticks out. And it has it's not like a king's crown. It just has 3 like in the show, and it actually, even though it has kind of like this weird arm, like, this arm is still pretty well done. Even if it doesn't have the Decepticon logo on the shoulder, it's still a pretty good buy. If, like, this isn't something, like, if you have kids, and if they want this Transformer, this is exactly something they're gonna like because of this huge arm and the fact that it's really hard to transform. This is something that you want to pose. If you're a collector and you just want to show off a G1 Galvatron, oh, and also his head can slip in and out, but if you're a collector and if you just want to show a G1 Galvatron without having to spend $140 on the Takara version, then this is a good buy. Even like the color coding is good. I like it. Aside from a little bit of overuse on this weird orange, it's still well done. I like the silver design here. The purple's really well done. The silver Decepticon logo's awesome. His eyes are glowing, which is pretty unique. And his hands are well done. In fact, I actually like the fact that this hand's straight and this one's in a fist, because this is good for a pose. Like, again, if you see the scene where he kills Starscream in the 86 movie, this is what I'm trying to do. See, look. Coronation Starscream. This is bad comedy. And also, another cool thing is that you could say that he's the movie Galvatron, so nobody has the right to say, oh, yeah, G1 Galvatron, the annoying Frank Welker whiny thing, that Frank Welker had to play Galvatron that he didn't like or whatever. Well, this is the movie version of Leonard Nimoy, and I'm not dissing Frank Welker in any way. I actually kind of liked him when he was crazy and all, but I still think that Leonard Nimoy was a better choice for Galvatron. And he's the movie version because the year 2005, Galv 25. So yeah, I'll show him a little bit on the side. You can't really see him that much. This backpack also can get in trouble because you have these here and these, so it's really hard getting everything in order. And actually I can say thank Primus and the Allspark that there are pegs to which this backpack goes in, this top armor goes in. Otherwise it would be loose, and every time you try to play with him, he would just be shaking all around. And he is kind of loose at first, but if you spend a little bit of time on him, he is fairly tight. You can even pose him when he first becomes Galvatron, like, behold. It's like in the movie, behold. Galvatron. So yeah, this is pretty cool if you just want to look at this toy and go like, oh yeah, that's Galvatron. So it's a good buy. It goes for $30 since I think it's out of print. And it has a good, cool paint job design. And the tank is actually pretty cool, too. It's just transforming him. That's the real pain, and the backpack. But I still recommend him if you want a cool Galvatron to show in your room. And he's overall a good figure. I don't rate on a scale of 1 to 10, but I'd say he would get a B+ or an A-, and that's not bad compared to some of the other Transformers figures. So, let's see if I can zoom in. Get to his face. Coronation Starscream. This is bad comedy. Long live the Decepticons, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.
Support Cybertron. Subscribe.